Honoring state line veterans, the special ceremony for those who fought in Vietnam. Plus, a ship sinks beneath the waves of a four-city river, how one local club is honoring fallen sailors. And pieces of Rockford's history are up for grabs, the ongoing auction of the Rockford Speedway and their items.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Tom Lewis. Thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News at 5 on this Memorial Day. Before we get to those stories, if you have any evening plans, would be a good idea to keep your eye on the radar. Let's check back in with Jordan for our storm chances tonight. Jordan.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. For anyone outdoors, especially if you have any early evening plans, again, a good idea to keep an eye on the radars because this is what we have coming our way. We did have a few isolated showers earlier on, but our focus now turns more to our west with these storm chances that are slowly working their way into the region. With these stronger storms now situated just near or east of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, they could be capable of producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well as quarter-sized hail. That's about 1 inch in diameter. These storms are moving to the east or a southeast direction, which means they could clip our southwestern portions of the viewing area over these next couple of hours or so. So especially if you are out in areas like Joe Davies, Stevenson, Carroll, and Whiteside counties, as well as into western Ogle and Lee counties, it's a good idea to at least keep an eye on the radar and have a preparation plan in place if you need to take shelter from any of these storms that will be approaching the area. Futurecast does keep us fairly clear outside of those path of the storms through around 5 o'clock. But once we get beyond that, that's when we do start to see those next chances rolling in. So right now, this radar does appear to be a bit behind for Futurecast. So maybe we could see these storms entering our western portions of the viewing area within the next half hour or so, and could be pushing then a bit further off to the southeast from that. Main coverage is going to be southwest of a line from about Monroe, Wisconsin to Rockford to DeKalb. Southwest of that going to be our highest coverage of any of these storms. However, we cannot rule out an isolated storm or shower moving a bit further off to the northeast of that. There is a low and severe threat for these storms as well, as we do have those severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place. Again, that focus is more so across the southwestern portions of the state line, with the potential for some of those damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, as well as around quarter-sized hail. I'll track how long these storms are going to hang around and let you know when we could see our next chances for storms as early as tomorrow, coming up in just a little bit. Tom?
All right, thanks, Jordan. It is Memorial Day. Americans across the country are spending the holiday honoring those who served. Rianne Weil visited a special ceremony recognizing Vietnam veterans in the state line and joins us now with more. Rianne.
Yes, Tom. I was among many who gathered at the memorial today to honor those past and active military members in our community. The LZ Memorial represents those from Winnebago County who had fallen in the Vietnam War. Today, veterans and their families gathered to remember the soldiers who fought for our freedom. The day was filled with prayer and poetry as loved ones and a few veterans themselves shared memories and encouraging words with the community.
God blesses us for some reason. I think those 26 guys on that wall, 69 guys in that wall are still around in spirit form, and they help us get all this good weather. But it was a wonderful day, well attended, and it's just neat to meet some old friends and veterans that we can give each other another hug, huh?
Sergeant Parnello said it was wonderful to see veterans from the Vietnam War able to attend the ceremony, and that it will be celebrating its 20th anniversary next year. Tom?
All right, thanks. Nice work and welcome to the team, Rianne. Rockford residents lined the streets to honor those who served. The parade started this morning downtown, made its way from State Street to the end at Beatty Park. After the parade, the Winnebago County Board Chairman and the Superintendent of the Veterans Assistance Commission gave remarks at Veterans Memorial Hall. Former service members and visitors say these ceremonies show that sacrifices soldiers make won't soon be forgotten.
It means that we care and we can come together to celebrate the fallen soldiers, and it just shows unity.
Very much of a response to honoring people and the veterans that have passed away and that people do not hardly even recognize because they passed away.
Rockford has held a Memorial Day parade every year since 1870. A ship sinks beneath the waves of the Rock River. The sinking of the ship ceremony honors sailors who lost their lives. Navy Club Ship Number 1 in Rockford put this on every year. Ceremony included a wreath presentation and a 21-gun salute. Organizers say they feel honored and obligated to continue holding this ceremony every year.
It's also a way of, as I said before, honoring all the people that have been lost at sea. It isn't just Navy people. It's all our service people and others. And we take that serious, such as the Navy does also.
Rockford Navy Club number 1 was the first Navy club in the nation. There are only 26 left. A state land association continues their service to veterans. The Kishwaukee Cemetery Association observed Memorial Day this morning. It's the 154th consecutive year they've done so. The Kishwaukee Cemetery was founded in 1845. Veterans from the Revolutionary, Civil, Spanish American, and World Wars are buried there. Organizers say there's growing support for Kishwaukee's ceremony.
When I was a little kid and I was 10 years old, why it would be maybe 50 people here. But it's grown since then. We've spread the word to people and trying to make Memorial Day, it competes with all the other holidays. So we always try to do what we can here.
Kishwaukee Cemetery has honored the fallen every year since 1870. A wreath-laying ceremony was held in Chicago. The service in Grant Park was at the monument for Major General John Alexander Logan, a Civil War commander from Illinois. Logan recommended the creation of Memorial Day, which was originally known as Decoration Day.
I'm grateful to be here to remember and honor our U.S. service members. I want to thank all of our veterans, and especially the Gold Star families who are with us today. You carry the burden of heartache and loss for a parent, a sibling, a child, or a friend, and we pay our respects to you today.
Wreaths were laid for every branch of military service and to honor various organizations that support them. Items from the Rockford Speedway now up for grabs. An online auction started today, will run until June 3rd. Over 1,000 lots are on the auction block. Everything from memorabilia, concession equipment, and even the grandstands will be sold. The full catalog and auction details can be found on the Speedway's website. Candidates continue to campaign throughout the holiday weekend. Up next, how President Biden and former President Trump are appealing to military families. Coming up at 6, more state-line cities honor fallen service members. How the Roscoe community stepped up for this year's parade. President Biden delivered remarks at Arlington National Cemetery today, and former President Trump spent part of his weekend meeting with Gold Star families at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. ABC's Christiana Cordora has more from Washington.
The Commander-in-Chief honoring America's fallen warriors at Arlington National Cemetery today and reminding the country freedom and democracy is not free.
Every generation has to earn it, fight for it, defend it in battle between autocracy and democracy, between the greed of a few and the rights of many. It matters. Our democracy is more than just a system of government.
Former President Donald Trump today lumped his legal cases into a Memorial Day post, writing, quote, "Happy Memorial Day to all, including the human scum that is working so hard to destroy our once great country," end quote, referring to his legal troubles in New York. Over the weekend, Trump met with Gold Star families of military service members killed while serving before Charlotte's NASCAR race. He dodged shouted questions about his hush money trial set to go to closing arguments tomorrow.
It's going to be a great race.
The warm welcome at Charlotte Motor Speedway sits in contrast with his not-so-well-received appearance at the Libertarian National Convention on Saturday. Trump tried to appeal to voters' criticism of big government. That attempt was met with boos. Trump then mocked the party's election performance.
Keep getting your 3% every 4 years.
The Libertarian Party nominated candidate Chase Oliver. Biden's campaign criticized Trump's attempt to lure over Libertarian voters by going after the overturning of Roe v. Wade, saying Trump claims his Republican Party is the party of freedom, but that women who had the freedom to make their own healthcare decisions had that ripped away. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Well, the skies were clear for most of the day, but that will soon change. After our break, Jordan tells us when storms could move into the region.
Now, your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
We did have a brief round of severe weather yesterday in the state line that included a couple of tornado warnings, one in particular that moved through portions of Rock County into the next county to the north as well. And that particular storm actually produced a brief tornado. I shouldn't even say brief. It was on the ground for 22 minutes from around 5 o'clock yesterday to 5:22 p.m. That tornado formed just to the west of Janesville and was on the ground through the town of Milton, Wisconsin in northern Rock County. That tornado was rated an EF0 tornado by the National Weather Service and their survey team that they had out earlier today. It had peak winds of around 80 miles per hour. Not quite that for our wind potential here in the day today, but we do have additional thunderstorms moving closer to the region, including a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in portions of Iowa. This round of storms moving to the east, so it is going to very quickly begin to move into northwestern Illinois over this next half hour to hour or so. So if you are out in those directions, and especially if you have anyone out participating in any of the holiday festivities outdoors, it would be a good idea to at least keep an eye on the radar going forward into the rest of the evening, as we could see some of those storms move into the region. Not a whole lot going on out in Freeport, though. This is what many spots across the state line look like right now. Lots of sunshine, but we do have a little bit of a brisk wind out of the northwest, as indicated with our flagpole out that direction. SkyTrack camera in Freeport is brought to us by the Rockford Career College. We do have a few isolated showers also situated right now off to our north and our northeast. Those not producing any lightning at the moment, so not in the form of storms. However, we do have to watch for our next chances for storms rolling in over the next hour to hour and a half or so with many spots. Again, as I mentioned earlier, these storms are likely going to be focused across a portion of the state line, more so toward the southwest, more so southwest from a line from Monroe to Rockford down to DeKalb for the highest coverage of those storms. That could include the potential for some gusty winds up to around 60 miles per hour, as well as some large hail up to around quarter-sized or an inch in diameter. All of this then clears once we get towards sunset, as we lose a lot of that storm energy going forward beyond that. We could maintain an isolated shower or two closer to the midnight hours, mainly focused northwest, closer to where that low pressure system currently sits. But after that, things will then clear out as we head into the early part of tomorrow morning. Right now, we are maintaining that northwest wind, as I mentioned earlier, keeping our temperatures suppressed a little bit, down in the low 70s for many of us, including 73 degrees in Rockford. We are down into the upper 60s, though, when we look out toward Galena. Clearing skies tonight following the passage of those showers and storms bring our temperatures down into the 50s overnight, 53 degrees for the overnight low. Winds out of the northwest maintain their strength around 5 to 15 miles per hour through the night tonight and into the day tomorrow. Tomorrow does bring another very similar day to today as far as our storm potential goes. Scattered storms possible again during the afternoon and evening hours. This time around, they are going to be much less in a cluster of storms like we currently see across Iowa, and much more scattered in nature throughout the afternoon. And as a result, we could see many additional spots that end up at least briefly getting hit by one of these showers or storms during the afternoon tomorrow. Another similar day to today that you want to at least keep an eye on the radar going forward. Things after tomorrow, though, will start to clear out and cooler. We're starting to warm up as well. We will have some pretty weak flow across the middle part of the country, leading to ridging and high pressure here locally. That will bring us some dry and fairly quiet weather as we trend into the middle of the week, along with lots of sunshine as well. That lots of sunshine and clearing skies unfortunately lead to some cooler overnight lows back down into the 40s. Meanwhile, afternoon highs will be in the 70s with scattered storm chances again tomorrow, but drying out for the middle part of the week until we eventually get close to the 80-degree mark again toward the end of the week.
All right, Jordan, thanks so much. Scott Leber is in next. He'll have your sports report. Stay with us.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
Memorial Day is traditionally the first measuring stick of how good or bad a Major League Baseball team is. Right now, the Cubs seem to measure up as a .500 team. They're in Milwaukee right now. Justin Steele pitched 7 shutout innings and got a great defensive assist from Ian Happ, who made this great catch in the 7th inning to keep the game scoreless. But in the bottom of the 8th, Al Leiter Jr. facing William Contreras, and that shot goes off Nick Madrigal's glove. Sal Frelick scored the first run of the game. The Brewers have since added 4 more runs, and they lead the Cubs now 5-0. They've just gone to the top of the 9th. The White Sox are closing out Memorial Day sitting 25 games under 500. Today against the Blue Jays, George Springer teed off on Nick Nestrini's pitch in the second inning, sending it out with a man on. Jays led 2-0. In the fourth inning, Bo Bichette waxed Nestrini's pitch for another home run. Nestrini gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. The bright spot for the Sox came in the 8th inning. Gavin Sheets belted his 4th home run. It was only a solo shot, though, and that was the Sox' only run of the day. They lost to the Jays 5-1. The Sox have lost 10 of their last 11 games. Well, the Rockford Rivets are ready to play ball. They open up their season this evening in Kalamazoo. The Rivets' home opener will be Friday evening against the Battle Creek Battle Jacks. It's been a Memorial Day to remember for the North Boone girls softball team. They've earned their first trip to the state tournament. They won the Class 2A Lyle Benedictine Super Sectional by defeating Elmhurst IC Catholic 5-3. The Vikings will play in the state semifinals in Peoria Friday at 5:30 against downstate Auburn Co-op. In the NBA playoffs tonight, the Celtics will try to close out the Pacers. The Celtics are up 3-0. It is a sad day in the NBA and for all basketball fans, especially those who date back to the 1970s. Hall of Famer Bill Walton has died from cancer at age 71. Walton was the NBA's MVP in 1978 with the Trailblazers. He won an NBA championship with the Blazers and another with the Celtics. Many people would argue that Walton was the greatest college player ever. He led UCLA to back-to-back national championships, and he was 3-time College Player of the Year. And about 20 years ago, Walton was in Rockford for a fundraising event. I had the opportunity to interview him, and he raved about his time at UCLA and being coached by the legendary John Wooden.
I had the time of my life, Scott, at UCLA. It was just so wonderful to play for John Wooden there, who was the single most important, influential, and inspirational person in my life outside of my mom and dad. But here was a guy, Coach Wooden, who gave us all life's great lessons. And one of his greatest tenets was that he told us that a life not lived for others is not a life. A game not played for others is not a game. That's why I'm so proud to be here in Rockford tonight.
That's sports. We'll be right back.
Well, Jordan, it is sunny out there for now. That could change.
Right, we do have our additional thunderstorm chances starting to work their way in. Right now we have a couple of severe storms across portions of Iowa that will be beginning to work their way closer to the area. So our main focus right now is going to be across southwestern portions of the viewing area as we see those storms entering closer to the next hour, hour and a half or so on the First Warn Interactive Radar from Rockford, Glass and more. Our temperatures overnight tonight following still a few showers lingering toward midnight, fall to the 50s, low 70s through the middle of the week, upper 70s, close to 80 by the weekend.
Thank you, Jordan, and thank you for joining us. Have a great night.